Capital Club event?
Yeah, so the first thing, the reason we picked Albania was it's uncomfortable to get there. I think uncomfort is something that a lot of people run from. Usually when you feel discomfort and you're uncomfortable, it means that you're in a process of growth or you're in a process of development or something's breaking down in order to hopefully resurrect something else. So I wanted to go to an environment where people could experience what it is to live a life of high-end luxury outside of America, right? We're talking about, for example, like Miami, we're talking about the prices of like rent, for example, and we're just like, damn, like somebody's out here paying $8,000 for an apartment.
Exactly.
And it makes absolutely no sense. Whereas, bro, you go to Bali with $8,000, you get an oceanfront villa, you're like fucking balling. I want to be able to teach a lot of these entrepreneurs that are coming what it is to be an entrepreneur, successful, have Wi-Fi money, and operate in different dimensions and in different places in the world. The next thing I will say is, to me, it's extremely important to be like location free. And I think a lot of people like bind themselves down with cars, mortgages, all these things, and they weigh themselves down, so they're tied to shit.
They can't really like be able to flow in a certain way as if you weren't like holding like those liabilities.
Correct. So they're tied up to all this bullshit, and then you end up being in a situation where what you want to do or the freedom that you were pursuing, you're no longer slave to, let's say, a job, but now you're slave to all the bills that you have to pay because you accumulated all these fancy, nonsensical things in order to achieve something that wasn't necessary, right? So I think this idea of exposing what it is to live a multi-millionaire lifestyle in other places of the world, I think is extremely important. So that's kind of like what we're doing. Mentors, networks are super important because the system wants to make you believe that it's you against the world. Whereas the highest people in society, they don't operate individual units, they operate in conglomerates, they operate in family networks, they operate in home offices, they operate in things like that. So I think at the lowest level of society, people are very, very much isolated and alone, and they don't have kind of that network, that support system, that group, that club that they can access. So having all those things in mind is kind of why we formed Capital Club.